Good evening, everybody. Here we are. We got lots to talk about. And Steve, without further ado, shall we get straight into it?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Milan fans all over the world, with your hosts, Vinny T and Stevie P.
Benvenuti nella casa
Giro in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Mamma mia, Teo Hernandez, coast to coast, del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino. Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Il Milan è campione d'Italia.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 258 to be exact. Stevie P, Vinny T, always here faithfully talking about Milan, a not so pretty Milan, and bring on Conte and his hairpiece Milan, which we're definitely going to be talking about that. Before we get into it, not much housekeeping, just welcome to our newest Patreon member, Peter Jovanic. I believe he's always commenting on the YouTube, so welcome, join the WhatsApp group, and thank you to all Patreons. It was funny because I was saying to the Patreons, thanks for, we're splashing the cash. We bought a microphone for Fab, we're buying a microphone for Gio, and then Fab's like, but I'm on Patreon too. So yes, Fab, you've been paying for your own microphone, and Presidente, very proud of you that you got the deal there on the Facebook marketplace. Stevie P, anything housekeeping? How was the week? The cold has settled in. Gio telling us on this chilly Monday, he's in South California and he's complaining about the cold.
I have no idea. Poor Gio. Yeah, he's a bit cold there. It's probably like plus 17 there, and he's because they don't use Celsius in the States. He's probably 900 Fahrenheit, whatever degrees he's in. So a couple of beers in, he's probably chilling, and then it's a bit cold in his house.
But he was up this morning at 3 a.m. and guys did a live watch along from the draw. I know Presidente did some slides, but I wanted to get your take on it. And kudos to the guys, to Gio and Fabio, from coast to coast, doing these specials, his reels on Instagram. You guys are really earning your internship at Milan Weekly Podcast. But Steve, you were up this morning. Let's talk about it right before we get into the Spezia game and the Cremonese. How did you take it? And surprised, people, sports media said it's like, the Italian teams got it easy. I have no problem with that headline, but should be a good matchup, right?
Should be a good matchup, but the draw is a draw. I think we're just looking way too much into it. I was looking through social media as soon as I saw Tottenham, and of course all the Milan fans said that it's a favorable draw for Milan, and all the Spurs fans said it's a favorable draw for Spurs. I think it's just, if you look back at the previous competitions, no easy draw in the Champions League. Ask Juventus bowing out to Benfica, Ajax, so on and so forth. So I think the Italian teams and the Italian newspapers need to get a little bit of a reality check. Serie A is not the big boy anymore. We went for multiple years being the teams that everybody was afraid of, to now the teams that everybody wants to play because no one's afraid of us because of the league and the chaos that the league is with itself.
But, other than Juventus, laying an egg, it could have been... When was the last time, Steve, we had 4 teams, let's say, in Champions League, let alone 3 right now? It's been a while.
For me,
right?
It doesn't really matter 3 or 4. For me, it means winners. When's the last time we won a Champions League?
So, you know what? Looking at this year, let me get rid of the overlay. So, we had... I just wanted to take a look as well as the other ones here. So you're looking at, in the Europa League, Juventus and Nantes, Roma and Red Bull there. You had Fiorentina and Braga, Lazio and Cluj. I don't know, Steve. It's possible maybe more Italian teams advancing this year, but against Tottenham, obviously we have to say that we're I'm happier to get them than to get, let's say, a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich. And the only team I was truly afraid of was Bayern Munich. Real Madrid to like really test us where we're at, but Tottenham, I guess it's a flip of the coin, but you can't underestimate Conte, right?
No, you can't underestimate Conte. And to be very honest, I'm afraid of all the teams. We played against Chelsea and we got our ass whipped 2 times.
Yeah, you can't.
And Chelsea this weekend against Arsenal looked absolutely horrendous.
They looked horrendous last week too.
Guys,
Didn't they
but
lose to?
like this is the frustrating part, and then people are going to say that I'm negative. We need to, as you know, Serie A fans and Milan fans, take a reality check. We're unexistent, guys, in Europe. Unexistent. We're going to have Juve in the Europa League, and they're going to be all cocky, and we've seen their stupid, multiple, idiotic fans. Some are good, but the majority of them are very snobby, and they were mad that they made the Europa League. They were mad.
They should be thanking the Lord that they have an opportunity to make a bit of money because,
while Spain has been, Sevilla and so on, and the other teams in Spain have been winning Europa League. Guys, again, I'm going to go back to an episode of Bobo TV, and I'll never forget this episode. Or these guys, whether you like them or not, are, professional players and they have their take. They said, Serie A has become so arrogant that they don't even want to compete in the tournament that they have the best chance to win. Let that sink in, guys. The best chance for us to win a European trophy is in the Europa League. We cannot
it's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched as an idea, no.
We cannot compete with the Champions League. We don't have the money. We don't have the depth. It would take a miracle run by anybody. Everybody's all goo ha ha, goo gaga over Napoli, goo gaga over Inter, Milan. No one takes us seriously, right?
That's fine, yeah.
But that's the problem. That's all because of Serie A. And I've been continuously posting and continuously tagging Serie A on purpose to try to catch some of this content when someone's going to be telling you the truth and not, throwing you flowers all the time.
You think that maybe, Steve, if, the Uncle Jerry coming in, maybe possibly more American, tycoons coming in and buying teams, you think there will be a change? Or is the only solution hosting a national, a Euro or a World Cup? Because you have countries that got it three times, like France, since, we hosted a 1990 World Cup, maybe to force to get better stadiums and to revamp the system. Is there any solution?
The bureaucracy of Italy is going to just throw that to shit. It's about 20 years that Roma is trying to build a new stadium.
How many years is it? It's always like, okay, now we're talking to this guy. We're talking.
It's going to be who knows how long it's going to be till we build a new stadium. I think the Americans will bring in some of the North American flavor, where let's get shit done, which in Italy and in Europe is not the case. But again, I just see everybody, and I had a chance to leave a nice little voice note for the guys from a Spurs podcast, Last Word Spurs, who reached out to us and wanted to know. There's no favorable draw. There's no favorable draw in the Champions League. Like, I don't know why people make such a big deal of what the draw is, because
I don't think
have to play two games. You have to play 2 games. Who are we? Who are we to say that it's favorable or not favorable?
How about this? I don't believe in favorable and non-favorable. I believe in, okay, at least it's not Bayern Munich, to give me some sort of hope, right? Because for me, if I'm facing Bayern
Munich's the best team either.
Really? They didn't lose a single game in the group stage?
Who cares? Who cares? You throw all that out the window. It's like the playoffs. The Patriots, they went undefeated in the season, and they laid an egg in the championship. There's one undefeated team in NFL football. So there's 72 Dolphins. If you go to in terms of soccer, it's pretty hard. They just play multiple games. But the Champions League is special for itself. It's a special tournament. And this is, again, I'm very frustrated because it's newspapers just putting stuff out there for people. No one cared about the draws back in the past. It's give me whichever team I'm going to get out of the pot. Let's go. Let's play 2 games and let's get it over with. I don't care that it's Spurs. I don't care that it's Conte. That's just fluff for the newspapers and to get me to, and to get me to click and to go. It's really annoying. Let's just play champion. Let's be happy we're in the Champions League and just try to get better. No favorite. Who are we? We played against Chelsea. We got our ass kicked.
Yeah, definitely on the first game. But in the end, we could talk about the second game all we want, but we just didn't have enough in the tank to beat Chelsea. And then you look at Chelsea, I get the argument that Chelsea is one of these superpowers, but then you look at their EPL performances. Who they lose 3-0 to last week? Brighton against De Zerbi. Who does he coach? De Zerbi.
Brighton Albion. Yeah,
Brighton.
That's even past. They lost against Arsenal, man. You start losing against Arsenal, it's all downhill from there.
So, Steve, this February, Valentine's Day, feel like going to Milan? So on Valentine's Day, Tottenham will be in Milan, and then it is the week after, I believe, or 2 weeks after. Steve, if anything, I believe the only way you can meet an Italian team or a team from the same country is in these semifinals. You cannot meet in the quarterfinals, correct?
Yeah, it has to go pretty far. The draws are done purposely so the countries don't meet.
All right, so let's talk about the game on Saturday. Steve, I believe you're at home watching. I love how Presidente gave us the picture of Origi. And I don't know if you would agree with me the way I sum up this game. This game, it just felt that as soon as we scored that first goal, right? I don't know why, like our heads were, you know what? Okay, we're good. I don't know if we took our foot off the pedal. We seemed to get back into it as soon as it scored the 1-1. Yes, people want to complain about the VAR. I get it, but if it was the other way around, you would have been taking that foul. I think it sucks because of the fantastic goal from Tonali, and I know we did get some questions about Giroud, but
the rule's bullshit.
The rule is bullshit, but
the rule is bullshit. Again, this is where I guys, I'm so frustrated in Serie A. It's unbelievable. I'm honestly really frustrated in Serie A. I'm not even frustrated at Milan. I'm just frustrated in the league. I think the quality of soccer has been garbage this year. I don't know if it's because of this World Cup. We're going to talk about it after when we go around the league. But, Derby della Capitale was shit. Derby d'Italia was, whatever. Nothing more than that. Watching this game and seeing something like that called back where, different sports where, again, we're going to go back to the NFL, who was probably one of the first to bring in the instant replay. They have rapid replay now where they're getting things, they're correcting things that, the officials might have missed quicker so that they could speed up the game. And you know what? Serie A, who was the first to bring in VAR of European soccer, is just so way behind and so dinosaur-like and really terrible, guys. You cannot take away something like that, a beautiful piece of soccer like that, for a foul that happened light years ago. Because in the game, it's light years ago. It's not even close to that. It
just seems like, at the first glances that it was going to help for goal line technology about an offside, but now we're getting into an offside of a knee, an offside of a nose, Ibra's nose being offside, and this foul. I'm not debating that it wasn't a foul, but again, to call it back, and what a goal by Tonali, Steve. How could you take that back? Now I understand. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. If we were, on the other end, we'd be happy, but it still sucks for the other team if they were. I think the rule should be, I don't know.
You're going to be happy, but you're not going to be happy because the state of the game is not something that I'm enjoying right now. It's not even fun to watch. It's actually boring. I watch Milan and I get excited for Milan. And again, it's all the games besides that. Maybe it's the way I'm watching it. I'm not 100% sure. but the quality is just not the same. And in terms of the entertainment product, I'd be worried.
It's sad. It's funny that we do it at the bar, but Ralib is always there. As soon as we score, we're celebrating, and he goes, stop, just in case there's VAR. And when he did it the second time, I'm like, this is sad. This is sad that we all stop in our celebrations to make sure, is something going to happen? Is it going to get called back? The Serie A was one of the most controversial league before VAR. They implement the VAR, the first league, and it's still as controversial as before. But Steve, let's talk about some positives. What positive did you see on this one? I felt Benacer is a tank. I don't know the way Stevie does it. Just controls that midfield. Krunic, hitting that crossbar. How about you? What positives did you see? Diaz didn't have the best of games, but he was present.
He was present. I just like the way they didn't give up. It was a bit of a strange father-son moment where Daniele Maldini decided to score. Probably his first or second goal this year, and it comes against the parent club who loaned them out. That's just the way it works for Milan. Alla Saponara, alla Destro, all those guys who come back and they put on a show when they're playing against Milan. But again, for me, the positive is the group. This was a little bit of a tricky game. They left a lot out there after qualifying for Champions League. It could have easily been something that we dropped points. It was not, again, the best game to watch. It was actually pretty sloppy. But again, for me, it's the team effort. There's no individual standout, but the team effort and the game-winning goal. Beautiful ball by Tonali. That's what we need. What we saw from Tonali in this game, which is a big positive, is all the things he needs to get to the next level, which is one, being more dangerous around the box. We saw with the goal that they unjustly took away from him, and being a distributor of the ball in the final third, finding Giroud with a fantastic cross and Giroud with a fantastic finish.
Did you see that scene of... there's my top and flop for Giroud scoring and flop for not remembering it was on a yellow card. Did you see video of Kalulu realize he looks to the crowd and he just realizes he's about to take off his shirt, and somebody had tweeted out, it's like, where's Calabria when he needed? I know the adrenaline is running.
I'm gonna say it again. It's another one of those stupid rules.
I know. But
it's an archaic rule in an archaic league. And I'm not saying only Serie A, it happens everywhere. If you look at the NFL, it took them a couple of seasons, but when they took away celebrating a touchdown, it quickly came back. So, taking off your shirt, is it something that you should do? Probably not. But does it really warrant a yellow card?
I would like to understand
the shit that we see in a game, all the shit that we see. The stupid tackles, the studs up, dangerous plays, those get a yellow card because they're actually dangerous for the game. What danger does taking off your shirt actually do? Disrespect? Yeah, sure. But everybody disrespects. I'm pretty sure there's shit said on that field that would give red cards. Red cards will be given by the ref. So taking off your shirt, again, it's not because it's Giroud. I think it should be across the. I think you should let them celebrate. Let them celebrate.
I'm agreeing with you, Steve. But in the end, you got to look at it as that now he's out for the next game. Origi has not been good.
No, we have no other striker. Origi has been non-existent.
So it's like now we're putting. I know we're playing Cremonese, but again, you said, there's no easy games.
There's no easy games. Easy games, and I don't want to hear it. I just think it's a stupid rule. It's our fault. We have no backup striker. Now you have to make it happen. He has to make it work. Find a way to win against Cremonese. Don't drop points against Cremonese and ask that you want to win a Scudetto.
Very well said. Did you notice even Rebic, as they were having all that? They posted a couple of videos that everybody's freaking out for the yellow card for the jersey, and Rebic is just there playing with the ball, and one of the players going after him. He just pushes him and he pushes. Did you see that? You gotta love
I saw he
Rivers.
had a confrontation. That's one thing that I appreciate from him. Does he show up every game? No. But man, is he a hard ass, and is he someone that you would not want to play against? He's not going to take shit from anybody. And I tip my hat also to Theo Hernandez, who has become such a polarizing figure for Milan. Someone that, you have him on your team and you love that he's on your team. You would hate to play against Theo. I would hate to play against Theo.
Would you agree, Steve, that he hasn't been throwing himself on the floor as much as we saw him at the end of last season, beginning of this season?
Yeah, I think he's doing a better job of that, and I think he's also he has to run with this persona now. He's the guy who's hated, and people from other teams message me constantly that they can't wait till someone hurts him, and that's again, they're joking, but
They'd love
something
it.
that you want to hear, because that means he's in their head, and because he's in their head, both tactically, physically, and mentally, that's a tough player to play against.
We spoke about some of our tops. How about your one flop, Steve?
Again, I think we concede too cheaply. I don't know if it's Tatarusano not being able to make that clutch save.
Am I harsh by saying Tomori hasn't had the best of games the last couple of them?
I think Tomori has looked a little bit out of sorts. It's a couple of. I think I saw a lot of people post the Champions League game where we clinched that he was out of sorts. I didn't agree with that. I think that he was actually very good, but in the Serie A, I don't know if it's the rotating partnership, with Gabbia in or Kajar in or Kalulu in. That's throwing him off, but I feel like he's not seeing the simple things anymore. He's making the simple things look very, very complicated, where when he's at his best, the simple things are really simple, and the complicated things are simple as well. So I think he needs to refocus. I don't know if he has this the England call-up in the back of his mind. Will he get called, or will he get snubbed by Mark Maguire? That other sorry excuse for a defender at Manchester United,
which will be facing Barcelona in the Europa League there.
This is crazy.
Mark Maguire. Steve, Louis Ban Youssef waits all week for the soundboard. Let's go take a look at this week in Serie A action. Udinese Lecce. No, I did not wake up and watch.
Stupid time change. It doesn't even make you watch these games.
Empoli, Sassuolo. I don't know. Like, it just this one, I just caught a bit of the highlights, and it just seems like Sassuolo has been having more bad than good this season. Steve, did you have anything to add to this?
I think Sassuolo needs to get healthy. I think they need Berardi back, and they need to find what kind of Sassuolo do they want to be. Do they want to be this action-flying, high-scoring team, or they want to be a defensive team, because they have no identity right now?
If you were watching Empoli Sassuolo that time, you would have heard that trompet a lot with the Salernitana and Cremonese 2-2 on this one. Watch the highlights. Seemed to be an entertaining game, Steve. Did you catch anything of this one?
I unfortunately did not. I as well watched the highlights, so I can't give you the real gist of it. But games like this, where they're relegation battle games, and Salernitana's on a bit of a point gathering streak, I think they'll be disappointed without coming out with 3 points.
Atalanta Napoli. Did watch this one. Atalanta, you know what it is, Steve? We've said it many times, you and I. Napoli's making us eat our words, because at the beginning of the season, we even placed them in the top 4 from all the changes that they had. At Atalanta, when they scored 1-0, Steve, I wasn't like, okay, you know what? Maybe there's, I don't know why. In my head, it's like, they're going to screw up, and Napoli's going to come bing, bang, boom. And that's what they did. How much time did it take to score those 2 goals? And then they just defended. Atalanta looked that defending on that tying goal. And Osimhen's a monster. What do you think about?
Yeah, Osimhen is the difference maker. Along with KK, and KK didn't play this weekend because of back problems, and I don't think he's gonna play again this midweek game. But again, Napoli gets it done. They're looking very similar to Milan of last year. We're grinding out, nice wins and ugly wins. I'm still convinced that they're going to start dropping points. It might come after the World Cup. It might come before. But Atalanta really missing a striker. I don't know why. Duvan Zapata constantly on the bench. It looks like he's in the doghouse with Dancing Gasparini as well. I think Atalanta had some good moments. I think they weren't able to finish. But again, Napoli irks out another ugly win. Right now, Osimhen is unmarkable.
He's definitely a difference maker. Bologna, Torino had taken the lead. Bologna comes back with 2 goals. Much needed 3 points there for Bologna. Did not wake up at 6:30 in the morning, Steve, which was actually 7:30 for us. This whole time change. Even anything to add on this?
Typical Torino. Play a masterful game against Milan and steal 3 points from Milan, and then lay an egg against Bologna. The only reason why I watched this game is because I picked Torino to win. And of course, once I picked Torino to win, Bologna wins.
Silvio and company, 2-0 against Hellas Verona. Steve, are they going to stay in Serie A?
I think Monza is gonna stay in Serie A. I didn't think so at the beginning of the year. I didn't even think they were a team, but it seems like there's worse teams than Monza. And Hellas Verona and next at Sampdoria are 2 of those candidates of worse teams than Monza. Big thing for Monza, I think Sensi's hurt again. But he is hurt again. I think he broke his fibula. So this guy here, it's at the point that you feel bad for guys like this. Like this, it doesn't end. It's just constant injury. And I think playing at a team like Monza would have been something nice for them to, for something nice for Sensi to regain a bit of his career back and, maybe finish with a mid-level team and so on. I don't think he's going to end up back at Inter anytime soon, but breaking your fibula, it's very sad. But again, kudos to Monza. 2-0 against Hellas Verona. Hellas Verona is in trouble.
Liban, the easiest pitcher of beer I ever won gambling with Jan. Sampdoria, Steve, if they didn't do it last year, Sampdoria needs to go back to Serie B. Like they need this. Fiorentina, not that Fiorentina's been playing, oh my God, fantastic soccer and calcio, but Sampdoria, man, they just bad. That's about it. Yeah, they're just bad.
I lost my ring light. I don't know why. That's why I went all dark. But we'll stay like this. It's okay.
It's okay. Look gorgeous. Il derby della capitale, il derby la Roma e la Lazio, Roma home game. I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah, this was an embarrassment to the derby della capitale. I'll be honest with you. I watched this game in its entirety. They showed nothing. I think Roma and Lazio fans, Lazio comes up with the 3 points. They're all happy that they won the game. And there was a bit of fire, but it wasn't real fire. It was like made up drama where I think Radu tried to knock the ball out of Roma's goalkeeper's hands, and they kind of had like a little bitch fight on the side, but there was nothing else more than that. Ibanez just made, I just came back from coaching my son U9 and basically telling him, don't dribble the ball in the middle, Gianfranco. Don't take a touch towards the middle of the pitch when you're the defender. Move to the side, outlet on the sides. Worst case scenario, it's going to go out for a throw-in. And what does this donkey do? Exactly what I told him not to do. Exactly what I told a 9-year-old not to do. This guy goes and do it. But again, Roma showed almost nothing, besides Zaniolo hitting the crossbar, which is probably the only thing that he did well. I think Lazio managed they managed the match. I give them credit because their best player was missing, but I think with SMS on the pitch, and also Roma missing, Dybala does make a difference. But I think this is not what the league wanted from the Derby della Capitale. I think they need to inject some fire into this thing.
And then, il Derby d'Italia, Steve. Juventus-Inter. Talk away, Francis. Did you talk to Francis? He even reached out to Patreon question. He's he didn't talk about Inter and Juventus, but I spoke to a lot of guys before this game, and even the Interistas at the bar, they were like, "We're losing this game. I don't know why. We're just losing this game. I have a feeling Champions League we're in. Juventus is, pissed off, whatever." And then I have to hear guys on media set, giornalisti, Juventus per vincere il scudetto? Forse se vince le due prossime. And I'm like, you're 10 points behind. If Napoli wins the next two games, which it probably will, you're still like, how are we talking about Juventus winning the scudetto and Milan that's 6 points behind and not even in the discussion? Anyway, how did you think about the game, Steve?
Watch this game. I was interested to see what was going to happen. I think Limone Inzaghi just really does it again. He got it all wrong from the beginning. His substitutions were terrible. I think, Inter had no fight. Lautaro Martinez. If Lautaro Martinez wants big boy money, Lautaro Martinez needs to score big boy goals. And you can't be missing chances like that. Dzeko missing his chances, Dumfries missing chances, two left feet. I just think Inter, for no reason whatsoever, let Juve look dominant in this game.
Mike is saying we nearly got clapped in the first. I felt it's not like they played bad, Inter, but it just you just said it perfectly. They let Juventus, I don't get it. I just, does the result reflect the performance? I didn't think that Juve was going to come out dominant. Neither did I think Inter was going to come out dominant. But you can't keep on relying on Big Rom is not there. These kind of games. Well, guys, this is Calcio. You're going to get all these injuries, and it's just. Did you at least enjoy the game for the game of the week?
As a neutral, I enjoyed it. I didn't think either or was more dominant than the other.
The handball? What did you think of the handball?
Whatever. It's again VAR. They're looking for every single little thing when they feel like looking for every single thing, and it was a magical call that went against Juve. I don't agree with those types of calls, because I don't think Danilo can do anything. His hand is not there to deflect the ball and purposely put it in the net. It's just there by human nature. So I don't agree. I think that goal should have stood. Again, that's just the rules of the Serie A, where they're scared to make a decision, because then everything else is going to be under a microscope. Did I enjoy it? I have to say I did, as a neutral. If I'm an Inter fan, I really hated it. If I'm a Juve fan, if I'm a normal Juve fan like Mike, I take it, but it's like I take these points and I run away, and I still understand that it's not over yet.
It didn't get to his head to like, okay, we're back, or that game that they had won 4-0, and you saw siamo ritornato, and I'm just like, are you guys serious? Siamo ritornato, and there's still a long way to go, Steve. There is still a very long way to go for Juve to try to get into the top four, because as some teams might dip, some teams will keep on winning, and they need to keep on winning if they want to have some sort of chance. Because if not, win the Europa League, buddy, because that's you're going to make it into Champions League next year. But all in all, Steve, maybe not the best of Serie A weeks, but we do have tomorrow with Cremonese. Let's see what the slide. Well, let's look at the standings, right? Very quickly. Napoli 35, Milan 29, Lazio 27. Still nice and competitive, Steve, to look at difference of 8 points from fourth to first. Cremonese, Sampdoria, and Verona, and that's what scares me a little bit there. Cremonese, them in their heads, if I get 3 points, I'm tying Spezia and Lecce. But at this point, what's the most surprising position for you in this La Classifica after 13 weeks?
Again, we're over the Napoli surprise. We made a mistake and it's over. It's fine. For me, the most surprising is seeing Salernitana on that side of the standings.
I was just gonna say how's Salernitana there, but hey, it's still what do we have left? 35 weeks of 25 weeks of Serie A, so we shall see. What else did Presidente give us here? So yes, Fiorentina Sunday at noon. Obviously, I will be there tomorrow, 2:45. Probably not gonna make it to the bar. I gotta work unless I sneak out. Steve, you can be half watching, half working. We'll figure it out. And so your round of 16s. These were we already saw. The champion. Here we go. All right. So, Steve, we do have a couple of questions to go through. Let's see what we have here from our Patreon. Khaled says, is a loan in January good for Adli and Milan, or is it better if he stays? Question. You had the 4 likes on that one. At this point, the loan I don't see, because that one injury away from, especially in Serie A and Coppa Italia is coming. Would you loan him out? I would say no.
I really don't know. It's a mystery.
We kept Maldini for a whole season without loaning him out, and he did nothing, right? We played him once the whole year.
Yeah, and the thing is with him is I'm not understanding. We left him out on loan purposely. We left him at Bordeaux purposely, where he finished the season, yes, in the French league, which is a different league than Serie A. I feel like we should be cutting him some slack as well. It's just that there's not enough of the sample size to say, hey, is this guy someone who's part of the project going forward, or is he someone that we made a mistake on? Maybe a loan would be interesting, but we would have to find some reinforcements because Biaka Batuko is still there.
Who?
Bakayoko. Bakayoko is still on this team for some reason. We have a lot of dead weight, and I hope he's not. Dead weight.
Alex D says, "Hey gents, cheers for the time and effort you put into building an awesome Milan community. Keep the content coming. Thank you. I don't want to even discuss the last game. Milan has to get better at creating and finishing chances to dominate against low-level teams instead of relying on last-minute Hail Mary miracles. These should be comfortable games for this team to win. Anyways, 2 quick ones for you. 1, does Tonali pick up his 5th yellow card against Cremonese and miss the Fiorentina match? What do you reckon? And 2, will there be podcast sessions during the World Cup break? So number 1, Steve, Tonali, does he pick up his 5th yellow card and miss Fiorentina?
Knowing our luck, probably yes.
And during the World Cup, will we be podcasting? We will definitely not be doing that every single week. Maybe a one-off. We'll have maybe a World Cup preview with the guys from Coast to Coast. But, Patreon, don't worry, we'll take care. Maybe we'll have these, therapy sessions because you'll be in Milan. Now, did you see Steve, one of my friends, Mo Khan, used to work at TSN. He said there's a mini tournament happening in Dubai. Milan's going to be there, Liverpool, a couple of other teams. I didn't hear about this. If anybody in the comments read about it, then this is going to be like a little mini tournament, like, these Luigi Berlusconi tournaments. So maybe we'll get together for those ones. Derek says, besides the intervention of Jesus, what does Milan have to do to get past Tottenham and Conte in the Champions League?
I don't think they need the intervention of Jesus, guys. I don't think Tottenham's a very good team either.
I think if they can play the way they played the last 10 games of last season as a unit, as a team, that's it. I think we could do it. Contain Harry Kane, and I think the chances are there. Like you said, Steve, the ball is round. Gio, keep up the great work, guys. Question: why does our team struggle versus relegation sides? Shouldn't we have the heart of champions? Also, can somebody tell management that we need a right wing? I'm tired of Messias. Why is it, Steve, that we seem to be struggling against these lower tier teams? Where, when you see the Napolis, the Inters, whoever is always in that top 4, never seem to be struggling the way we struggle.
For me, I think it's a bit of both. One is that, Milan, yes, we are champions, but we went through a really tough time where, people were not afraid of playing Milan anymore. The other thing is Milan don't really have someone besides Leao who can just punish you right away. And it takes us some time to get into those matches, especially against teams that defend, and for us to have to break them down. As soon as people sit back behind the ball and we dictate play and we have possession, and we're trying to break them down or break down their defensive wall, that's where it takes Milan longer to get on the scoreboard. And the longer we get on the scoreboard, the more the nerves build on this young team, and we get ourselves in trouble. A la Spezia,
Mark is, and we're not clinical in finishing, and we haven't been.
We're
very
not,
long
and
time.
Mark is 100% right. It takes a wonder goal from Giroud, but we miss very easy chances. And if we would bury those and put these teams away, 3-0 at the half is games that we have to finish.
Francis, our friendly snake. Good evening, fine gentlemen. Do you think the World Cup break will be beneficial to Milan, considering so few will be starting for the national team? Will it prove to be an advantage for Pioli and his team? It can't harm. Steve, who's leaving? Trying to make a Leao, right? Leao. Who else is leaving? You have Kajar. You have Amori.
It's a troll by someone who unfortunately has his blinders on when it comes to Milan. So Milan can do nothing right for Francis.
Oh,
absolutely,
no, seriously.
Absolutely nothing. We play the worst soccer. We're terrible. We have no players that would start in any other Serie A team. We won the Scudetto because Inter decided to give us the Scudetto.
But he was in therapy. He came to Chicharo's that time. He was making an amends.
In his head. So, like for Francis, players like Leao will not start for Portugal. Players like Theo Hernandez will not start for Portugal. Kajar won't start for Denmark. Magna, the French are they're just stupid.
Yeah, Theo and Magna,
even if he's not injured, wouldn't start for France because Lloris has to play. And that's another matchup, which, another reason why I want us to beat Tottenham is, put Magna in his rightful place, starter of France, and Lloris send him to retirement. But again, will it benefit us? I think this World Cup benefits nobody.
Amen.
The only people that it benefits is FIFA and Qatar. I apologize to all the Qatari people who listen. I mean, no disrespect. But it's just not. I'm a traditionalist. I believe in spreading the world, the beautiful game. I sincerely do, but not in this way. Not for money. And this is an upside down World Cup, like South Korea.
When's that the Netflix documentary coming out? Next week?
I think it's next week. Yeah, right in time for the World Cup.
Perfect timing. Vinny Mancini, hello gentlemen. Can we please show some love to Kalulu? His ball recovery just outside the 18-yard box led to Sandro's beautiful pass over to Ole for a late winner. Yes, definitely. I personally think he was one of our top performers during the tail end of last season, partnering with Tomori. He continues to put in quality and consistent performances with so much room still to grow, let alone playing as a fullback and center back, which is not an easy task. Thanks, guys, and Forza Milan. Kalulu has been, right, Steve, not only the revelation of last year, but I remember watching that highlight and just reminded me like it was him, that ball recovery, and the way, the versatility of the player to go from the right wing to center back. It just seems that when Tomori is not with Kalulu, maybe that that synergy is not there. But definitely a shout out to Kalulu.
Yeah, very good.
We're gonna finish off with the with some Ask Vinny and Steve, and then we're gonna take it to Fantacalcio, see what's going on. Mosen says, "Good up, keep up the great work, guys. I know Steve doesn't like comparing players, but I wonder if he can tell between Leao and Double K. Who will he pick? I'll pick Double K as he's a better team player, despite being 2 years younger than Leao. He is more mature in the game. Do you agree, Steve? Would you pick Double K over Leao?
I think it's what your team needs. I don't like. Not that I don't like comparing. I think Double K is Double K. Leao is Leao. Leao is built more on his athletic ability.
Yeah.
And I think Double K has more soccer sense and skill and a little bit more smarts in the final third. But for me, they're two top talents. I don't think we should just, say which one is better. But in the long run, I think longevity-wise, Double K might be more dangerous and more of an asset to a team because he could get his team's other players involved. Where Leao
Makes
really
everybody else look
depends
better.
on his speed and talent, which he has a ton of assists too. Last year he had 7 assists, if not more. So he is getting his teams in, but he's more on physical ability. I think Double K is more on soccer sense and soccer IQ.
At Diavolo nel Duomo, as Vinny and Steve, looking back, who's the one player that left in recent years you wish we still had? That's a good one.
Recent years, what?
Let's go with recent years. Do you want to do the last? You know what, Steve? Recent years. Who's the last player that you remember that you felt bad him leaving?
Again, for me, it's if you're going the last 10 years, I say nobody. Besides letting go of Pirlo, I don't think we should have let him go.
Okay. Who do I? I don't know. I could think that I wish we still had. I wish we. You know what, guys? Don't come at me. If the beauty of Mike Mangione is the beauty of Mike Mangione, but Donnarumma was to me, I still wish we still had him because of the link that he had with Milan. Forget the money. Forget all that stuff. Yeah. Forget that Bagnac came out as a superstar. But that's one player I wish because it's something that we could have built for the future. It's my personal opinion. Don't come at me. And that is it, Steve. And let's take a look. How was your Fantacalcio doing, Steve?
I'm very bad. I don't know what's going on with me. I just keep on picking players that at the beginning of the week say that they're going to play. And then at the once the Giornata starts, they're not playing. I picked Susan Vlahovic and put him as my captain and didn't show up in Derby d'Italia because he was injured. I thankfully had KK and put him back on the bench and slotted someone else in for that. But my Fantacalcio has not been doing good. But, never mind my Fantacalcio. There's other guys. Justin is flying in third place. That's amazing. The site in itself is great. Easy to use, very simple, great to do. Join the Milan Weekly Podcast League. You can join their own general league. They have fantastic prizes. Presidente will be giving us new prizes for us to give out for our personal league. But again, the site is really
Vinny
cool.
Gattuso, look at that.
Vince Gattuso is still 28, still in the top 50. But that for Roma is like a championship. So.
And here's our newest Patreon member, Ciao Presidente. I think that's what maybe he's gonna buy one of these T-shirts that Fabio wants to make with the face of Presidente.
Ciao ragazzi, ciao Ale, come stai?
Ciao Presidente, il vero Presidente, come stai te? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, grazie.
Well, we got Peter and Husney right there with the Krunic All-Stars, so stay tuned for your upcoming Presidente merch. It will be limited edition, guys. Limited, at least $35 to $45 a T-shirt because it will be 100% Egyptian cotton, right, Steve? So we'll see what we can muster up. We've gone through the Milan game. We've gone through predictions. We've gone through the questions. We've gone through Serie A. Steve, you know what's left, correct?
Yeah, let's go to Busted Calcio tweets.
Let's do that. Let's take out this banner here. And Jan couldn't make it tonight, but he knows he's with us with spirit. See, let's take a look and what does he have for us behind door number 1. At Romantics, pretty sure Juve offered Fagioli in deals for Zaniolo last summer. Should have accepted exactly what our midfield needed. Pretty sure Juve offered Fagioli in deals for Zaniolo last summer. Should have accepted. Exactly what our midfield needed. So this guy is saying that Pasta Fagioli scores a couple of goals for the last couple of games, and they should have traded him. They should have dealt for Zaniolo.
Again, this is Roma fans looking for outs. Again, Zaniolo has not been good, guys. I have to say, if that's the direction that Jan was going for this type of tweet, there, I don't think Zaniolo is going well for Roma. I think his future is away from Roma. I don't think the answer for Roma's midfield is Fagioli. Absolutely not. I don't even think that Fagioli is the answer for Juve's midfield.
Next, we have at Calcio Online 24, il Napoli da triplette, a nostro parere, sembra addirittura più forte dell'Inter.
Oh my God!
Okay,
This
guys,
is
let's
hey.
translate.
This is. We're gonna timestamp this for Francis. 52:19. Timestamp it for Francis.
So, in
Winner.
Italian, guys, it
Winner
says,
is the winner.
is Napoli da tripletta,
It's winner.
for our opinion, for us seems stronger than Mourinho's Inter.
This
A
is
perfect engine.
guys. We're by far not an Inter. We're not. We're by far not the furthest thing away from an Inter podcast. The furthest thing away.
This
But
is
things like
busted.
this from Calcio Online 24, and I hope that it's a scammer account. These things like this, Elon. If Elon's listening,
Don't parody.
things like this should be banned. You should have like 3 strikes. You should have a 3-strike Twitter stupidity policy where after 3 strikes, you're gone. The robot comes and the robot destroys your tweet.
All right. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Door number 3. Just remembered my YouTube video from the Pirlo season where I called Fagioli the new Modric.
Jesus Christ, I didn't think the last one was going to get beat. These guys are crazy. These guys are crazy.
You know what?
Oh, it's
I
our
love
friend,
you.
NYC Juventus.
To
I
hear
think
you laugh like
he
that,
might get
Steve,
pissed
yeah.
off at this one, though.
At NYC Juventus, I just remembered my YouTube video from the Pirlo season. So this is what, 2 years ago, Steve?
Yeah.
When he called Pasta Fagioli the new Modric. So he already knew. He already knew ahead of time.
Fagioli can't tie Modric's shoes.
Thank you. Next. Oh, guys, Jesus Christ. These are good. Okay. Number 5. Christopher Fern. AS Roma. I would have placed them on the same level as AC Milan.
Yeah, so this is me who submitted this one, and I
Who
really
is
thought
this
it was
guy?
going to win. I have no idea. That's the problem.
Guys, please tell us in the comments who this guy is. Roma is on the same level as Milan.
Guys, again, Christopher Freund, whatever your name is, like these people, this is the frustrating part, guys, and this is just me on my soapbox. We come on this, you know what? I have to be honest with everybody. Not every Monday I feel like standing in front of this mic and talking to everybody. I'll be very truthful and honest to you. It takes a lot. It takes me, it takes Vinny away from our families. There's some even stuff that, it takes Jan away from his stuff. It takes Presidente away from his stuff. Gio and Fabio.
Gio
we
waking
put
up
in
at
a
3
lot of
o'clock
hard
this
work
morning,
for
man.
stuff like this, guys, for content like this, where we try to be as truthful and as straightforward as possible. And we barely skim the radar of Napoli stuff. So we barely skim the radar of Milan stuff to create good content, and we don't even get noticed, and that's the frustrating part. This is my indigestion, right? So, but then you have guys like this, and thank you, Mark. He's the Arborough Salzburg sporting director. What the fuck does he know about Milan? What the fuck does he know?
He knows that we're on the same level as Roma.
Why? Because you're playing Roma. Like, shit, man. Like, we try to be as unbiased as possible on things like this, and then you have guys like this who spew garbage like that. And again, this is not on Milan Post, because Milan Post is a great account.
Yeah.
It's really something that good for Twitter, one of those good accounts that puts out stuff like this and gives us context to talk about. But Freund, what the hell are you talking about? You're in the Europa League against AS Roma. Roma hasn't won something. The guy was probably playing since they wanted. Don't tell me confederations things. Don't tell me Conference League bullshit. I don't want to hear that. They have not won anything for the last 30 years, 20 to 30 years. Don't you put Roma on the same level as Milan. And Milan went through a 10-year crisis and they still didn't win anything. So don't put me on the same level as AC Milan. Don't put Roma on the same level as us. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So this is the guy from us, Red Bull Salzburg. Okay, so thank you for that, Steve. And I know it's not the easiest thing to do this every single Monday, but when I hear that laugh of yours, it makes it all worthwhile. But
wow, just stay between these two guys. I have no idea. People have.
Guys, you gotta give us a vote here, because right now the tripleta that Napoli is stronger than Mourinho's Inter, and he just remembered that he feels grateful that he remembers is the next Modric. Even this one, Steve, is this?
No, this has no chance.
He's a bit bitter.
Imagine it has no chance. It's that busted that it has no chance. Those other two are so busted that the one that I submitted has absolutely no chance of winning. Absolutely no chance. This guy's here is comparing a la Juve, a la typical Juve fan, a kid. And you know what? I hate comparisons, but don't start comparing him to Golden Ball winners. Come on. This is ridiculous. And the other guy is comparing a team that has been irrelevant for the past 20 years. Another team that we could add to the Roma category that has won absolutely nothing, to a tripleta championship Inter coach Mourinho team.
I gotta go with this one, because as much as we hate it every time he does this, we hate it because he's fucking right. That team is fucking fantastic, right?
He's right. They had a crazy team. They had a really, really good team.
And they won by parking the bus.
Never done before in Italy. Never done before. The first to do it. We have to hear that for the rest of our lives. They can never take it away from us. We can never take it away from them.
I gotta go with this one, Steve. I gotta go. But then I look at this.
No, the tripleta.
Steve, how did he make this video on a player that he saw in La Primavera back then? Or playing
I have no idea. But the other one is comparing an irrelevant team to a tripleta championship team.
Yeah, this has got to be. You know what? I'm voting for this one, Steve. You gotta voting for this one.
Yeah,
it's been a while. We haven't handed out. Is this Lupo worthy?
Yeah, this is a Lupo award.
This is a Lupo award.
Award anniversary edition. This might even be the busted of busted Calcio tweets.
Thank you, Jan, for always your hard work. I know it's been a long week for everybody. You know what? Your indigestion, as you're saying, Steve, is that, and yeah, it is sometimes very frustrating to do what we are doing, but there's some little moments where, whether it be seeing this morning Fabio and Gene waking up, the guys waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get onto the channel, seeing this little community on the WhatsApp from the four corners of the world, them looking forward to the little Patreon chats, you know, that kind of makes it worth its while. But yeah, it kind of sucks that, you know, we tried to do the comedic route, you know, people enjoyed. At one point it got stale. Now we try to do something different, some different, you know, graphics, some different segments, and still, you know, and kudos to Gio and Fabio, Steve last week that had more views than our Monday channel. But today was the first time. Haven't seen 60 live viewers at one point, so thank you for everybody. And all honesty, guys, thank you for always supporting. And Fuji's and Funyan, we need to figure out who this guy is, Steve, because he's from Montreal for sure. He's been watching Liban Youssef, and he's always there. You guys are the best, man. We truly appreciate it. And again, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. That's the a bit of the indigestion and a bit of the whatchamacallit, the feel good moment, the brioche. And if you guys have any suggestions, we will be having. If you guys have anything for us to do anything differently, or what would you like to see, let us know. We're not gonna get online five times a week, but we do have the Monday show. We got Fabio and Gio. We got the Patreon specials, the group therapy, and for your viewing enjoyment. So thank you again for watching for all these years. Episode 258 for that. And Gio and Fabio, kudos, guys. Kudos. You're getting those views, and that's what it's all about. And monetization. Presidente likes that monetization. Steve, anything? Yes, at least that should be 60 likes. Thanks, Mark. Anything in final? Kept it under an hour. It's ready to go. Cremonese domani, Fiorentina. Maybe I'll see you Saturday at noon. Maybe it's a bit hard with the Gianfranco, but if you're free, you bring him over.
Yeah, for me, it's get into this World Cup break with 6 points. That's what I want to do. I want to do another podcast next Monday talking about Tuesday and Saturday's win, and go off on a little bit of a break. I think World Cup break is going to be good. Fabio and Gio, as they said multiple times in the comments, that we'll be doing World Cup stuff. I will pop in here or there, but really a good break for us. An unfortunate good break for us because of this stupid World Cup in Qatar in the middle of the soccer season. Again, 6 points. That's what I want from Milan going into the World Cup break. And let's see after this World Cup if we can get that Seconda Stella, because that's the most important thing right now, is that second star.
6 points and a Napoli hiccup before we break for the winter. Guys, again, thank you so very much. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao.